Hi everybody, and welcome to the conclusion of my May 2019 vlogs. My name is Patty. I am coming to you from home in Newfoundland and Labrador, the most easterly province in Newfoundland and Labrador. Or sorry, the most easterly province in Canada. Sorry, I am still jet lagged from my wonderful, wonderful trip to Ireland. And it is past May 31st. It is the 2nd, it is Sunday the 2nd of June. And I didn't get a whole lot of interesting videoing done on the 29th, 30th, and 31st. I meant to do a knit with me on the evening of the 31st, but then this unexpectedly happened.
Tell me when that breeze is blowing, taking me home to my town. If ever a song made me feel like I was back home in Scotland, it's right here in St. John's, I'll tell you that.
So as you can see, my oldest son won tickets through his school for the Corey Hart Glass Tiger concert that was held at Mile 1 in St. John's on Friday the 31st of May. It was absolutely a thrill for me to go because, of course, Glass Tiger and Corey Hart were two huge, huge bands when I was a teenager, and it was really special to be able to take my preteen son to their concert. Corey Hart actually was at my son's school earlier this week and donated over $10,000 worth of musical equipment to the school for their music program, and then gave out over 200 free tickets, so 400 altogether, because it was one for a student and either a friend or a chaperone or whatever. So my son won one of those tickets, and that's what we did unexpectedly on Friday evening. So I didn't do a knit with me, though I was knitting at the concert. And I wanted to show you what I was knitting. I am still working away on my JUNEGRASS pullover. This is by CARRIE BOSTICK HOGE, and I'm really enjoying the pattern. The pattern's very well written. It's easy for me to understand, which is great. I'm knitting this in an Elm Tree Yarns wool. This is superwash merino, nylon, and silver stellina, 225 meters, and it's a DK weight yarn, and the colorway is Mrs. Tiggywinkle, of course inspired by the Beatrix Potter books. And I put in so I did a fair bit of knitting for me. I'm not the fastest knitter in the world. So I did work on a pair of socks as well, which I'm not going to show you right now. But this is what I did with so here's how much I have knit to date. Almost like a few stitches away from splitting off into the front, because there's a split, there's a V up the side, so there's a front and a back piece knit, and I'm almost ready to split to start working on the front and then switch over to work on the back. Just to show you, I did put in a progress keeper right here. This is where I was when I went to Ireland, and I knit down to here. Between going to Ireland and between the CORRIE HART concert on Friday night and the Sunday, and I haven't knit another stitch since then on this. Really happy with how this is turning out. I did try it on Saturday, and it's fitting beautifully. I really like the fit. The neck is about here, so it's not too tight and it's not too low. Happy about that as well, and I'm really looking forward to having this finished, of course. But we'll see I really hope that I can concentrate and get that done and my socks done before I get lured into something else. Of course, on my trip, I could be resulted in me being lured into the double knitting rabbit hole, so I'll get into that in a minute. Some people had in the comments, and I'm sorry I haven't responded to your comments, but thank you so much. I so appreciate getting comments from viewers, and I appreciate every single one of them, read every single one of them, even if I don't always respond. But of course, with just getting back on Tuesday and then being jet lagged and hitting the ground running, because straight into, making supper for the boys, doing laundry, everything was fine when I got home. My parents and my husband managed beautifully without me, but my husband was teasing me. It took 3 people to make up for one of me. And everything was in order and such when I got home, but of course, if you wait a minute, it gets into disorder pretty quickly. So I've been very, very busy since I've gotten home, and the kids have had lots and lots of programs. One school concert, of course, the concert down at Mile 1. They're off right now this morning so that I can tape. Well, I'm taking this time. They're off doing their Scout Tree sales this morning. So it really has been busy since I've been back. I wanted to show you the purchases that I made when I was away, and I'm going to try and go in order of how I purchased them, though I may mess that up a little bit, so bear with me. This is the second time that I have taped this podcast. I'm just going to stop for a second and do a test to make sure that the volume is recording, because it wasn't on the last taping, and this is the second time I'm recording, so just a second. All right, that seems to be recording well. My microphone is working, yay. I apologize for this big blob of light. Look, my hand is disappearing over there, but I've got a real big mess over here to my left, so I don't want to show you that. And even though it is foggy, the sun, I think, is starting to burn through the fog. So it's getting quite bright. So I actually have the blind. This is the light with the blind down, in hopes that that's going to help with this a little bit. Okay, so when I arrived, I had an overnight flight to Ireland. I left on Monday the 20th and arrived in Ireland Tuesday morning the 21st. My lovely friend Siobhan and her husband, hi Siobhan, picked me up at the airport, and then her husband dropped us off close to the Constant Knitter in Dublin. We went to a cafe called Two Pups Cafe, and I've been there before. I was there a couple of years ago. It's quite close to the Constant Knitter, which is why I found it 2 years ago. Gorgeous, gorgeous food. They've apparently won some awards recently for their menu, and they certainly deserve it. I've loved everything that I've had the past 2 times that I've been there. So after we had breakfast, we headed over to the Constant Knitter, where I purchased a couple of books right from the get-go and a few skeins of yarn, or a few balls of yarn. So I wanted to show you what I picked up there. One is a magazine that, though it's made in the United States, is Making Magazine. I can't get it locally very easily. So I purchased this for a couple of reasons. I Now, she at the Constant Knitter, there were all the making magazines. I think it's up to number 7, 6, 7, or 8, and all of them were there. But I picked this one first, mainly because I really like this cross-stitch pattern at the front. But there's also several knitting patterns in here that I love as well. There's this little girl's bonnet that I think is adorable. And we've got a new baby coming in the family in August, beginning of August, late July. Don't know if it's a boy or a girl yet, and I thought these little knitted elves, fairies, whatever they are, were adorable. What do they call them? Sprites. Yeah, that's a good name for them, knitted sprites. Then the other one was a sweater that I really, really like the look of. That's this one. Now it's cropped. I would probably knit it longer, but I really see the lace detail in the back. I think that's really pretty. So those are some of the reasons why I picked up that book. The other book I picked up is Shore by Kate Davis. Several things in here I would like to knit as well. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be pronouncing these names correctly. Pabag, maybe. I like that sweater, though, again, I would knit it a little bit longer. The crop look doesn't really go along with somebody with my curves, necessarily, so let's put it that way. The other one that I really like is a shawl pattern called Trag. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's just gorgeous. And then the main one that I picked up the yarn for is called the Polka Gris. Polka Gris, I'm trying not to show you the pattern. Polka Gris kerchief. So to that end, I picked up 2 each of these balls of yarn. It's a wool alpaca Real Filate Pregati. It's made in Italy. It is I think a DK or a sport weight yarn. It's a mix of, so I picked a gray instead of a white and red, a gray and red. This is a mix of wool and alpaca. And I would say that's a DK weight. So the color are 5159 in the gray and color 50586 in the red. I've started that pattern now 3 or 4 times and I just can't get the hang of it, which is completely normal with me for a new pattern. So if there's anybody out there who gets frustrated by casting on, I have been known to cast on a project 9 times because I just can't get the cast on the first 2 rows. And that's what's happening with this one. I know I'll eventually get it. I just need to take a little break for a few days and then get back to it. I will be taking a longer break than a few days though for this one because I want to get my socks that I was working on when I was away finished, and I want to get my JUNEGRASS pullover finished. So that's going to be put to one side for a little while. So after the Constant Knitter, we headed up on the, Siobhan and I headed up on the train to Westport and were picked up by my lovely friend Catherine. Hi, Catherine. We're staying with Catherine and her husband in the Killadoon area of Ireland, which is north of Galway. They look over Carrineski Beach. It's just a beautiful, it's an idyllic location. They got the sand, they've got the water. It's just gorgeous. And they have a lot of talented artisans in the area. So the next place that we went into Louisburgh, and I apologize, I had put the name of Louisburgh for the bookshop that I had taped in an earlier vlog over the past couple of weeks, and I spelled Louisburgh wrong. So Louisburgh is spelled like this, and I will put that down at the bottom of the screen as well. But we went to the Solas craft shop. And this is open, their summer opening hours are 7 days a week, 11 to 5. So they're open all summer for any of you tourists that are hitting the Louisburgh, Ireland area. It's in County Mayo. And I picked up something that we have been eating in my house, which is a butter dish. So I picked up this butter dish. The light is it's a beautiful blue. Yeah, that's not too bad. It's kind of fogging it out a little bit. And here's the top. Really pretty deep blue. So now I can keep from sticking my fingers in the butter dish every time I reach into the cupboard. We've only been married together for what, 25 years or more? And this is the first time I've had a proper butter dish. I feel very grown up. So after Solas, we went across the road where they have a beautiful bookstore I think it's called Books for One. I don't have the receipt here. I've got it somewhere, but anyway, I'll put that information at the bottom of the screen. I picked up this book, which is by a UK author, and it's based in Scotland, specifically the islands off Scotland, which is close to where my husband's family are originally from. So I thought that this would be a good read. I'll let you know how it is. It's more of a it's like a children's or teen genre, I think, but it looks really, really good. Well, regardless, that's one of the genres I like the most, so I'm looking forward to reading that. Excuse me. And I picked up one of my friend Greg Hastings's. It's an artist in the Killadoon, Louisburgh area, and I picked up another one of his cards. This is, I have one of his prints that Catherine had given me one time last year that I have recently framed, and I also have a card which has a sheep on it with horns, and I thought this would complement the sheep with horns. It's another black and white, and I love the look. I love the look of derelict boats on the side of near the water. So I'm looking forward to, so here behind me, this shelf is actually going to be moving up, so you're not going to be able to see it anymore. And in between there, I'm going to have some of Greg's artwork, so you will be able to see that when I podcast. So that's pretty cool. Now, I didn't do much shopping after that. We went out to Inishturk, as you saw in the vlogs, which was an absolutely spectacular day. The water was like glass. It was incredibly, incredibly calm. Excuse me. I was really lucky the whole trip. The only time that I saw rain was a day that Siobhan and I went to Avoca when I had returned to Dublin after the West Cork Yarn Festival. And even that day, it really rained heavily, and then we were able to do things afterwards. So I never did hit a really rainy day. The weather was just gorgeous. Treated me very, very well. So after our visiting, we had a girls' road trip and drove down to the West Cork Yarn Festival, where we met up with a few other of Catherine and Siobhan's knitting friends, who are now my friends. So hello, Lindy. Hello, Galisa. Hello, Catherine. So now I have Catherine 1 and Catherine 2. Hello, Leslie. And who am I forgetting? I'm not sure. If I'm forgetting somebody, I apologize. West Cork Yarn Festival was wonderful. We stayed at the West Lodge, I think it's called, in Bantry. And the festival, the Yarn Festival itself was a one-day festival, which was awesome. The vendors were excellent. I took a double knitting class with Nathan Taylor, who's Sockmatician. And I'll start with my shopping by showing what I bought from his booth, because one of the things that I picked up was his new book, Guys Knit. This is a wonderful book for general knitting information for somebody learning how to knit, so I'm really pleased to have this. I also picked up one of his cute little buttons, Sockmatician buttons. And the main reason that I did the double knitting class with Nathan is because I really want to knit his Remembrance cowl. It's a red and black reversible cowl he designed in memory of, I can't remember if it was soldiers of the First or Second World War, and it probably doesn't matter, but it's in memory of conflict and the desire for peace. So what I did is I picked up two colors I picked up one of Nathan's, this is Sockmatician's recycled natural fiber yarn with possum in it. It's on a New Zealand. So I picked up that colorway. And then over at Bernie's shop, hi Bernie. Bernie is, of course, Bear in Sheep's Clothing. He's an Irish indie dyer from Northern Ireland. I picked up this gorgeous, gorgeous colorway called Roxanne. This is on her Bear Masham, which is a 75% BFL, 25% mid-brown Masham color and yarn, and it is beautiful. And I'm sorry, this is really blowing out. Is that better? No, that's a bit there. That's a bit better. So that's the color there that I'm going to knit the shawl in. I'm not going to show you my double knitting progress yet because I am consistently making the same mistake with my knitting, and it's something I need to practice. So when I get a little bit further on Nathan's project, I will show you, because I'm really determined to learn how to double knit. So I need to do lots of practice. I also purchased this Lane magazine, I think from Yarns for You. I will check online and see, or sorry, I'll check back with my pictures and such and see if I got a picture of the booth, because I know which booth I purchased this from. This has some gorgeous, gorgeous patterns in it. Two of the ones that I really want to knit are the boho sweater, which is by Carol Feller as well. Really like the look of that. I also like a pair of fingerless gloves that are in here. I think those are really sweet as well. And there are other things in here as well, but I'm not going to go through the whole book right now and show you. But there's some beautiful patterns in here, and it's just a beautiful, well put together book. It also has some recipes in it, like for a chocolate plum cake. How could I turn that down? So this is Lane number 7. Okay, so before I went to the festival, before I left Canada actually, there was a call out from vendors, because there wasn't supposed to be the ability to use your credit card at the at the West Cork Yarn Festival. It was going to be cash only. So Giddy Ant Yarns, who was going to be a vendor there, put out a call for anybody who wanted to pre-order. They could do so and then pick up the yarn at the festival and save shipping. So of course I did a pre-order, and I have some beautiful yarns. So I got 2 skeins of this. I'm only showing you one skein because I've destroyed the other skein. I opened it up and I've destroyed it. This is 100% Pima cotton in the colorway Festival by Giddy Ant Yarns. It's just gorgeous. So I'm planning on crocheting a summer shawl with this. So that's one. I bought one of this. This is Giddy Ant Yarns on their Platinum Sock Fingering 4-ply, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This is the color Vervain, and it is stunning. I can't wait to cast these on. This is going to make a beautiful pair of socks. And then the other 2 I purchased are a merino smooth sock, and this is the colorway Woodstock. I just love these. I bought 2 because I liked it so much. I'm not sure what I'm going to knit with it yet, but I'm sure I will come up with something. So thank you to the ladies at Giddy Ant Yarns. They're a wonderful team. I think there's only 2. I met both of them at Giddy Ant Yarns at their shop. So thank you and hello. Next, I went to the Moon and Sixpence, and this is Annie. And hi, special hello to Annie. Annie said she watches my podcast, so hi, Annie. From Annie, I picked up these 5 skeins of yarn because I want to make a scrappy sock. I want to make a scrappy sock set, or a pair of socks. Oh, they don't want to stay up. Anyway, they're just gorgeous. And I'm pretty sure I have a skein of this down in my stash that I had purchased at Atlantic Knitscape a few years ago when I went over to Ireland for Atlantic Knitscape. So Annie, thank you so much. It was wonderful to meet you in person. That was, I love them, and they're so soft. They're just gorgeous. So I'm looking forward to casting that on as well. Another shop, Westway Wools, I believe it is. I'll put it on the screen. But she does punch needle and punch needle kits. And I didn't pick up a kit because I didn't really have enough room in my suitcase. But I did pick up another number 10 punch needle. I'm going to use this to finish my husband's rug that I'm working on, which has poppies all over it, but it has quite a bit of green around it. And versus the regular hooking that I'm doing, I'm going to punch needle it. So I'm looking forward to getting that down on my frame and giving that a go. So I'm excited about that. So the lady whose name escapes me, but she has been certified by the Oxford Punch Needle Association in Vermont, and now is teaching in Ireland. So if you're interested in punch needle in Ireland, then make sure you look her up. Last but not least were these beads. These are from, I can't remember the name of the lady, but I know I can find it and I will put it up on the screen. These are going to make a beautiful little necklace. They're polymer clay beads that she makes herself. Very economically priced. These were only €6. So I'm going to make myself a necklace. I'm thrilled about that. I'm looking forward to wearing them. I think they'll be very, very nice. And her shop sells polymer buttons, beads, and that sort of thing. Just a beautiful, beautiful shop. She has a shop on Etsy, so I'll make sure that I put that information on the screen. So about that point, I had run out of cash and blown my budget. And the other yarn shop that I really wish that I could have purchased more from is this one. I picked up her card because this is Kathleen at Wild Atlantic Yarns. And although I didn't pick up anything from her, her yarn is gorgeous. I'm intending on shopping in her yarn shop over the next few weeks. She's dyeing at a beautiful Donegal, Ireland. So it says in the back, beautiful hand-dyed yarns and spinning fibers from the northwest of Ireland. I think this may have been her first event, Kathleen. It was wonderful to meet you. Kathleen was really, really sweet. She had her daughter there, and her daughter was doing really well with the Yarn Festival. I think her daughter was around 11, which is the same age as my oldest son. And I know that he would not have been sitting there as politely and as nicely as her daughter was, were he there. So that was wonderful. It's nice to see they had a little girls trip to go out and go to the Yarn Festival. So that was really nice. So Kathleen, it was wonderful to meet you. And I can't wait to do some shopping in your shop soon. That is about it for me. I just wanted to stop in briefly and give you a sense of the things that I had purchased all the things that I had purchased when I was away. As I said before, it was an absolutely wonderful trip. It's always bittersweet to end such a wonderful trip and come back to the harshness of reality. Though my reality is pretty spoiled, I'm not complaining. Like I said, it's still a bit jet lagged. My husband lit the fire last night and I fell asleep in front of the fire at 9 o'clock. I'm still struggling with the evening. I don't have a problem getting up in the mornings, but I'm still struggling with the evenings. I'm still wanting to go to sleep quite early. So I hope that everybody out there is doing great. If I haven't said it before, thank you so much for your comments. I am sorry I haven't gotten a chance to get back to everybody, but I really appreciate your comments. And I read each and every one of them, despite the fact that I don't always comment back, especially when I was away. It was quite difficult for me to comment on your comments. I hope you enjoyed this little segment and the end of these vlogs. I really enjoyed doing the vlogs in May. I thought at one point that they might be too much, but I really, really enjoyed doing them, and I hope you enjoyed them as well. And I will check in with you again later this week or early next week to talk about how my knitting is going and my knitting progress and anything else that I happen to be up to. So I hope you get some time to do some crafty things that make your heart happy, and I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Take care. Bye.